What's going on, guys? It's Megadan29, and this is going to be my Super Nintendo collection from when I was a kid. First of all, one interesting thing about my Super Nintendo collection is, for one, it's sure as heck not as big as my NES collection was, and for two, I only ever remember playing this over at my dad's house. So to me, this was my dad's collection, and I just kind of tried to get all the games again as I got back into retro gaming, 10, 15 years ago. And I've tried to rebuild it back up and stuff like that. But my brother tells me that apparently we had it at our house first, and then my dad took it to his house or something like that, because we had the Sega Genesis at our house. We ended up getting the Genesis also at some point, and so we actually had them both. So that is why my dad brought it over there, apparently. So there is a 2-year, 3-year difference between me and my brother, so I will trust him. Chuggy alert. So I will trust him that he knows what he's talking about with that. And come on, Chuck. But anyways, let's hop right into these. Alright, these are in no particular order, so I'm just going to reach over and grab it and talk about it. Okay, Alien 3. I remember my dad played this a lot. He was obviously a big fan of the movie. So Alien 3, I have yet to beat this one. This actually was in my pile of games to beat, so I'll be getting to this very soon. But you play as Ripley, and you've got to freaking do a bunch of missions, basically. I remember getting kind of lost as a kid. I wanted it to be more linear, and you actually have to look around for things and do stuff. But I'm really looking forward to getting into this. And it always had really cool graphics. And my dad used to laugh at the fact that when you get game over, it goes, "It's game over, man. Game over." Something like that. And it shows this freaking xenomorph all friggin' drooling and all that stuff. I still remember that. Another game I had is a game we just did a playthrough of, and that is Baseball Tonight. And I always thought this game was kind of poor, but my dad didn't ever play it. He probably thought the same thing, but we always were laughing at the little voiceovers it did. And it had my favorite one was the one where you dive at a ball and it goes, "Nice leather." But I always thought it was really hilarious. Next one is Maximum Carnage 2, I call it, and that is Separation Anxiety. You're going to see a common trend here throughout these games, because my dad was a really big comic book fan. He has a huge comic book collection, and he would always buy anything Spider-Man or Hulk and things like that. Those were big parts of his collection. So Separation Anxiety I actually thought was better than Maximum Carnage, just because it was a lot more playable. It wasn't I don't want to say difficult, because I like difficult games. I mean, it was easier, but it was just more of a straight up beat 'em up, and people had patterns and things like that. You could play at the same time as the other player. Somebody's Venom, somebody is Spider-Man. And Maximum Carnage, you needed to find a lot of secrets and stuff, basically just to beat the game, because you had to get more extra lives, because there was parts that were super cheap. But this one was a lot more fair in that regard, but the story wasn't as good either. So it's like a double-edged thing there, where Maximum Carnage is probably the better game. But I had a lot of fun with this, that's for sure. I'm going to go ahead and get these out of the way now. There's a couple games I actually do not own yet, but I remembered when I was getting ready for this video, I was thinking about them. And one of them is NFL Quarterback Club for the Super Nintendo. I did not play it a lot, but a lot of times nowadays I like to go back to these sports games, because I like to see if they're any good. Sometimes they are. And I remember on NFL Quarterback Club, you'd pick your quarterback, and then you'd do all these drills, and you could do these fun little mini games and stuff. And then, of course, it had regular football games. So yeah, NFL Quarterback Club. And then the other one I had was a game called Foreman for Real. It was a George Foreman boxing game, and it was actually really, really good. And the Chug's right here. I don't know if you guys can see him, but Chug's just got to be in the video. He hears me talking. But anyways, he's trying to get some crackers that are right here. But anyways, Foreman for Real, I used to play that a lot, and I actually think I beat the whole game at my dad's once. I don't know what difficulty it was on or anything like that, but you'd basically pick a boxer and you'd go up through the ranks and just try to win the championship, where at the end you would face Foreman. And it wasn't really that hard, but I do remember beating it once. It was a really good game. Next game I got is another comic book game, and that is Spawn. And we beat this earlier this year, I believe. Oh, no, I'm sorry. Back in 2020 we beat it. And It's not a half bad game. I know my dad never beat it or anything like that, but he did play it quite a bit. And we would turn it on because the graphics were really good and the fighting on it was good and everything like that. So we tried to get far in it. And I think my dad only got to the part with Redeemer. I don't think he ever got any farther than that. But it's a decent game. I would say it's worth about a playthrough. I don't know if you'd ever want to work towards like a no death or anything like that. But it had awesome graphics and it was cool fighting. And it was overall a good game. Next game I got is not the actual cartridge, but it is one of the games, and it was Super Mario World. I have the Super Mario All-Star Super Mario World. This is not the one he had. This is one I picked up a long time ago, and it's sort of like a little bit rare. It's more uncommon. But he had Super Mario World, and who didn't have Super Mario World? But my dad didn't really play Super Mario World that much. It was more just us, not really my dad. Here's one that I replayed recently, and that is The Death and Return of Superman. And my dad used to play this a lot, actually. I remember him playing this. And to be honest, I revisited it, and I did not like it very much. I thought it was a lot better than I remembered. I thought it was going to be like super badass. And honestly, it's not very good, though. You repeat a lot of the same enemies. It gets ridiculously repetitive, and I remember it being kind of aggravating at certain parts, I think, because of how you have to kill certain people. And I don't know, it wasn't even that it was hard, it was just more like cheap and annoying. You know what I'm saying? It just didn't have a good feel for like a beat 'em up like your Golden Axes or your Streets of Rage or your Final Fights and stuff like that, or even the Ninja Turtles games. It just wasn't like that. It was a lot different and a lot more clunkier and stuff like that, and that's probably why not a whole lot of people talk about it, but that's just my opinion. But my dad used to play this one a lot. I definitely remember it. These next two pretty much go without saying. Another very, very, very popular games, and that is Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2. And my dad definitely played the heck out of Donkey Kong Country 1. This is one game my dad played a lot, and we used to play it with him. He didn't play 2 very much. He probably scooped it just because he got far in this one. I don't think he ever beat either one of them. But we used to play this one a lot. He liked Donkey Kong Country a lot. I know he used to joke around a lot about shooting yourself out of the barrels and stuff like that. So that's what we enjoyed doing on the game. But everybody knows what Donkey Kong Country 1 and 2 are. Awesome games. The next one is one that I wish they would have did a little bit better job on the port. But that is Final Fight. It is good, but it's only one player, and that's super annoying. And I don't know. It didn't have all the levels and stuff. It just didn't feel like as good as the arcade. Not even close. I don't know. Does that make sense? It just didn't even feel as close to the same. But it's a game that I still, on the console here, I have to get through it someday. Obviously, I've beaten the arcade one, but I've never actually beaten this one, so I'll have to get through it someday. But my dad used to check this one out and play it a lot too, that's for sure. Another one that's a real stinker, and out of all the games to get in this, I don't know why he got this one, and that is Batman Forever. No, he didn't get the good one, Batman Returns. He got Batman Forever. It was probably new at the time or something like that, and he snagged it. And, you know, I want to get through this game someday, and I definitely think I can. It's not very good, but at the same time, it's not like the worst thing ever. Like, last time I played it, I got to some circus stage, and this was years ago. I just turned it on and tried it. And it's not the worst thing ever. Like, there's definitely games that are way worse than this one. And obviously it's not as good as Batman Returns or Batman on the NES or any of those games. But it's like, at the same time, it's kind of like a Contra Force, where it's not a good game, but it sure as hell ain't a bad game either. You know, a lot of people give it the, like, Contra Force something like such a bad rap and everything. And with this one, I definitely want to make my way through it. Because, I don't know, I might tell you at the end of it that it's not that bad, but I'll check it out someday. But yeah, my dad had Batman Forever. Here's one that is my favorite on the system, and we played the hell out of this one. And this is probably, I would say, one of my dad's favorite games on the system, and that is Super Punch-Out. And we played the heck out of that. This is a dust sleeve given to me by Video Game Dust Sleeves. Thank you very much. And I actually have the box for this up there, too. Somewhere floating around here. Where the heck is it? Huh, that's weird. But yeah, anyways, Super Punch-Out, we played the hell out of this. My dad got to Hoy Cuerlo, which is the old guy with the stick at the end. He only had 2 more guys to go. And I was actually the only one to complete this one with the family, but we used to do time trials on boxers, and we would try to own the times and try to beat each other's high scores and stuff, and it was just a lot of fun. This game is just so much fun to just knock the heck out of your opponents. It's not really that hard of a game. It's just really, really fun to play. Super Punch-Out, man. Favorite game on Super Nintendo right here. And last but certainly not least, Griffey Jr Baseball. And my dad used to play this a lot. He'd turn on and play it, and we'd always laugh at the good old, "Oh, come on," when you strike out and stuff like that. And this is where I got my love for the game as I played it at my dad's house. Let me tell you, though, back then I was not nearly as good at it. I could barely win a game. I would just try to strike everybody out, and I wouldn't learn to kind of like do the fielding and stuff like that. So, really awesome game. It's actually, if we don't count wrestling, this is my favorite sports game of all time. So, very cool. And my dad had this, and that's why I learned to play it. Otherwise, I probably would never have even tried this game. So, very glad that my dad had this game. And shout out to Zombie JLT1 for getting me this CIB, man. Really awesome. Really good stuff. Hey, what's up, guys? I forgot a couple games. So I was editing, this is a couple days later, and now I'm sitting here editing the video, and I completely forgot a couple games. So one I have in my collection, and one I don't. And the first one is War of the Gems. War of the Gems was probably my favorite comic book game that I had with my dad. And you could pick up to like 6 characters. It was like Wolverine, Spider-Man, Hulk, Iron Man, Captain America, and there was somebody else, I think. And basically, it was the whole story of Thanos and everything. So when the new movie came out and the gems and all that stuff, I already knew about it because I played this. So everybody's like, "How do you know the story already?" I'm like, "Because I played War of the Gems back in the day." So really, really cool game. Really awesome. Highly recommend this one. I think this one's going up in price though. I think it's like up to like $30 now, $40 now, if something like that. But anyways, really cool game. My dad had this, and I beat it when I was a kid. And pick Spider-Man. He's really good in the game. And Hulk's haircut is terrible, and it used to annoy my dad. But the other game was Bugs Bunny's Redneck Rampage. And I never knew how to get really far in the game, but I loved the graphics. I thought it looked really awesome. And I definitely want to look for it as I go to the next conventions here coming up. And I'd like to pick that one up and try to play through it. So the whole point is to try to collect my dad's whole collection. That'd be really cool. So I'm very close. And that's just a couple of games that I missed, guys. So sorry about that. But I'll talk to you later. Well, guys, that was my Super Nintendo collection from when I was a kid. And yeah, not nearly as many games as my NES, right? But I wanted to do this video. It was pretty special because my dad actually just passed away. So I wanted to take the time in this video to say thank you for everybody that reached out and gave me messages or texted me or hit me up on Twitter, and all the support I got the whole time. I really appreciate it. It's sad what happened, and we're just working on getting better and getting back to what we do and having fun here on YouTube. So that is why I was away for a little bit. It was just obviously a really tough thing to deal with, and I'm still dealing with it. But I wanted to do this video because it made me feel good. And hopefully he's watching and can see his old collection. I still got to get those 2 games, though, NFL Quarterback Club and Foreman for Real. So we'll have to work on that. And only because I did this video did I realize I don't have those. So anyways, thanks for all the good times, Papa. And I loved going to your house and playing these Super Nintendo games. It was really fun playing with you. I had so much fun. And only because of you do I have this huge collection. I'm a collector just like you are. And my dad collects comics the way I collect video games, except he's a lot more hardcore than I am. But anyway, Dad, I love you. And guys, thank you for all the support. I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys later. God bless.